a free PDF of that textbook or workbook or story that you will need for that class. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to all of you lovely people watching this video. My name is Kayla and welcome to this channel. So we are going to be talking about college freshmen. I am talking to y'all youngins, okay, specifically. Or maybe anybody who's going to college for the first time and you're trying to pick up a few tips to help you along the way to make it less stressful, because we all know that stress demon does not need to be in nobody's lives. Alright, so as a recently finished college freshman, if that makes sense, I just finished my first year of college. I feel like I have a few tips that are really going to help you guys get started and things I wish I would have known to make the transition a little easier from high school to college. So if you're interested in those 5 tips, please stick around for this video and comment down below which tip helped you the most, and maybe I'll make a video after my sophomore year about 5 tips for sophomores. Alright, you guys, tip number one is you guys want to make sure that when you are getting any classes, you don't just choose any math class, any English class, any science class, any of those classes, because honestly, what makes the class work is the professor. Okay? They don't tell you this all the time, and maybe you've already heard it, but Rate My Professor is a great website where you can look up any professor, usually if they've been there for more than a year or so. Some students have rated them. You get to look at their rates, their comments, how they act in class, and not every teacher works for every student. And that's why I wish I would have known this, because there were some professors I would have liked to have that I didn't have, and I had that opportunity. So always make sure before you finalize your schedule and before you hit that button, before it's too late to change your classes, that you make sure to do a little research on your professor, because it's not a one-way street where you have to choose or you have to take any professor that they give you. They have multiple staff members for a reason. Tip number 2. I love this tip and I wish I would have followed through with it, but sadly I did not. I thought it would be a good idea. They usually have like a welcome freshman day or any of those days to actually go and see which building my classes were going to be held. Now you would think, oh, Kayla, isn't that the tip? You did follow through with the tip. No, I half did it. I ended up just walking towards the building. So I was like, oh, I see the building that this class is in, that this class is in. And I was able to walk it to see how long it took me, how far it was going to take me. Even checking out the parking spots matter, especially when you're a little prone to be late. You never know how traffic is going to be. So you want to make sure you have all your routes figured out. But the thing about this tip that is different from what I did is that you need to actually go inside the building and find that class. See the number on the door, all of that. So when it was actually my first day at college, I knew which building I was going to, but I didn't necessarily know the route of the hallways. Sometimes those hallways can be confusing with the numbers, and sometimes some rooms have one door, but then they actually have another door that you really have to go through. So just follow through with that extra step of actually going up to the classroom, seeing the number, making sure you know how to get there the fastest with these hallways, because it's a little different on a busier day, especially, first day of college, freshman year. And some of you guys might be thinking right now, well, won't they have people on campus to show me around? Yes, they do. But what I realized is that these tables that they have for you have maybe 2 to 3 people. And let's say there's other freshmen who are not as prepared, just like you weren't as prepared, and now you have to wait in line to ask where something is, and everyone is trying to get to their classes. Everybody's moving fast, so they're not going to have time to get to you, and then you're late. You don't want to be late. So please make sure that you actually walk your schedule, you go up to the classroom door, and you know where you're going, because that will just release as much stress as possible. So you get there on time, and you might even be able to talk to your professor a little bit before introductions start. And leading in, this is a great tip number 2 is a great way to lead into tip number 3, which is make sure whatever seat you pick on the first day is the seat you are most comfortable in throughout the semester. It might sound a little childish to do this. I remember I did this in high school as well, but it translates to college or any university, whatever you want to call it, a higher institution. It translates the same way. I don't know if it's just a human thing that we all do, but I realized the seat that I sat in for the first day of school is the seat that I was in for the rest of the semester. And I made the mistake of picking a seat that I didn't really like, and I had to stick with it because everyone else knew where they were going to sit. So it's like an unspoken rule. And sometimes I only had probably one class where my teacher actually gave us a seating chart, and I guess it was just easier for him that way to take roll. So make sure whatever seat that you sit in, that's the seat you want. And you might have to get early for that. I don't know. What y'all, comment down below what's your favorite seats. My favorite seat is probably like second row in front of the teacher's like console, and I like to be next to the wall because I like to lean. I like to put my bag up there. I like that. I don't really like sitting in the middle of anything. So comment down below what you guys think. Tip number 4, and excuse my Spanish, my accent sucks. I'm going to be learning Spanish real soon, and I can't wait to learn that journey with you guys because I really want to learn Spanish. I don't know what it is. I want to learn Spanish, and I want to learn sign language. I got to get those two together. But tip number 4, before I start rambling, is do not overbuy school supplies. Again, this is not elementary school. This is not high school. You do get very excited. I will say I made the mistake of overbuying my supplies, and that's why I still have school supplies that I can transfer over to my second year of college. It's just, it goes by a professor to class to professor basis. And that sounds very confusing, but you do get your customized textbook list. And even some ways I would ask that you contact your professor before the fall semester to ask them, hey, are we really going to use this book? Do I really need to buy it? That never hurts to ask because those things is expensive. Okay? Real expensive. And not only that, you're going to get real frustrated having all of this school supplies around, all this paper, all these binders, and you're going to be walking on campus, and depending on how you set up your schedule, you might have a class that's like across campus, and you got to speed walk your way through that, and you don't want all this stuff weighing you down. So I would say the best thing to do would get a multi-section notebook. Like this thick, maybe have 4 sections in there. I still use that one. That one's perfect for me because no matter what class you go to, at least for the first week, you still have some paper that you can use. And then if one class might require you, especially writing classes, they might require you to have some type of folders that you can actually put your reports in. So that's the other thing. So I say hold off on buying a lot of school supplies other than a multi-section notebook and pens. Don't try to get from the use of using lead pencils. I would say use one pencil just in case you need it, but pens, and then a pack of like 4 highlighters, and you'll be good for the first 2 weeks. And then your professor will tell you what you need for that class, if you need some notebooks, if you need some more folders, if you need a binder. But save yourself some time and some headache by just leaning off the school supplies just a little bit. All right. Last but not least, the last tip that I have for you guys, tip number 5, is to research the textbooks that your professors require. The way my school does it, we do have a customized textbook list that we can look up through the school's bookstore, but that doesn't mean you have to buy from your school's bookstore. I would ask you guys to go to Amazon, go to Barnes and Nobles. I did realize now that Amazon does do rentals, which is amazing, and you can compare your prices. When it comes to textbooks, you don't want to bear any expense. Sometimes you need to, sometimes you don't. That's why it's always good to take those extra steps of researching it, finding the best prices you can, you maybe even doing used textbooks if you're, if you don't really care that much. And below I have put a link in the description box of a link that one of my classmates gave me this summer, where you can actually go to this website and put the little textbook that you might need, and it will give you a free PDF of that textbook or workbook or story that you will need for that class. I really enjoyed myself doing this video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it. I hope you guys got some valuable knowledge from it. Please don't be afraid to comment down below which tip that you guys appreciated, and leave like a stack of little textbook emojis in the comments if you want to see this video again. And maybe I will do a video on online classes, because I had to experience that this summer, and going into the fall semester, I will say I'm much more qualified and ready for those online classes than I was at the start of this summer. So I enjoyed myself. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves too. Make sure you stay young and you stay hungry.